My best friend made me verify her pregnancy tests weren't defective by taking them myself. I just realized what I'd been helping her hide. My best friend Meredith made me take pregnancy tests for her, and I genuinely thought I was helping until I discovered she was using my negative results to hide the most psychotic affair baby situation I've ever heard of. She came to me crying about how she'd been trying to get pregnant for months, but kept having devastating miscarriages and couldn't bear to see another negative test, so she needed me to check if the tests were working properly. She literally said, "I just need to know the tests aren't broken because seeing those negatives is killing me," and even showed me fake paperwork from a fertility clinic about her supposed recurrent pregnancy loss. For 6 months, I took these tests thinking I was sparing my traumatized friend from more heartbreak, while she documented every negative result obsessively in what she called her fertility journal. She would photograph them with that day's newspaper like some kind of hostage situation and have me write the date and time on each test, which seemed extreme, but she said her fertility specialist required detailed documentation for insurance purposes. The whole charade was so elaborate, with her crying about Garrett wanting a baby so badly and his parents threatening to cut them out of the will if they didn't produce an heir within the year. The first red flag I ignored was when I saw her at the mall looking definitely pregnant, but she grabbed my arm and whispered, "It's just IVF bloat from the hormones. Please don't say anything to Blake because I don't want to get his hopes up again." I believed her because why would my best friend lie about something so insane? But then I started noticing other things, like her ordering wine at dinner, then going to the bathroom when it arrived and coming back saying she couldn't stomach it. When I offered to be her designated driver, she said, "Oh honey, I'm not drinking because of the fertility meds," but I'd literally watched her do shots at her cousin's wedding the month before. I tried to ask Garrett subtle questions about their fertility journey, but Meredith had preemptively told him I was being weird and invasive about their medical issues. He actually pulled me aside and said, "Meredith told me you keep asking about her body and it's making her uncomfortable during an already difficult time," which made me feel like such a creep that I backed off completely. She'd weaponized their fertility struggle to isolate me from him and make sure I couldn't voice my concerns to anyone who mattered. When I finally confronted her directly, she broke down sobbing and admitted she'd had one positive test, but miscarried immediately and couldn't face telling Garrett, so she needed my negatives to buy time to get pregnant again. She showed me the positive test she'd supposedly taken and made me promise not to tell anyone because Garrett will divorce me if he finds out I've been lying, but I'm ovulating next week and I know it'll work this time. I felt trapped between loyalty to my friend and the growing certainty that something was seriously wrong, but she'd been my ride or die since middle school. Everything accelerated when she announced she was finally pregnant through IVF and needed me to come to appointments as her support person, since Garrett was always traveling for work. I sat in waiting rooms while she disappeared for procedures and even held her hand during fake ultrasounds where the technician was clearly confused but played along. She kept saying things like, "This baby is our miracle after everything we've been through," while death gripping my hand, and I started documenting everything on my phone because I knew nobody would believe how insane this situation had become. The truth detonated at a family dinner when Garrett's dad got drunk and toasted, "To my grandson who has my eyes just like his beautiful mother promised." Everyone froze and Garrett said, "What the hell did you just say?" while his father tried to backtrack, but the damage was done. Meredith went corpse white and Garrett stood up so fast his chair fell over and he goes, "You're 6 months pregnant and we started IVF 3 months ago, so explain the math." Meredith completely snapped and screamed, "I needed those negative tests to show you I couldn't get pregnant while I was carrying your father's baby." The room exploded into chaos and she kept going with, "Your parents cut us out of the will because we couldn't produce an heir and your father said he'd put us back in if I gave him one instead." Garrett's mother grabbed the gravy boat and smashed it over her husband's head while Garrett just stood there looking at Meredith like she'd ripped his heart out of his chest. I ran to the bathroom and threw up because I'd just spent 6 months helping my best friend hide an affair baby with her father-in-law.